Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do the final update to the very popular video I did last week, which was titled, My Girlfriend Wanted to Do a Wild Girls Weekend in Florida, so I ended it with her, and she freaked out. And guys, I did the original story last Wednesday, and that guy emailed me right away with an update to what was going on with his mom and sister and all that, and I did that Friday. And this is the final update to what he emailed me about events that happened over the weekend. And things that happened in part 2 motivated him to definitely tie up some loose ends, if you will. And as a quick recap, for those of you guys that didn't see it, or just a quick reminder, the story started where essentially the guy had a girlfriend that he ended with. He had been with her for 3 years, and he had bad experiences with girlfriends prior to the relationship with her. And in the beginning of the relationship, he told her, look, I'm looking for something serious, one day get married, blah, blah, so I'm done all the bullshit that usually happens when people are, in college, 20s and all that, like girls' weekends and girls' nights out. I've been burned before, and you got to do that, it's not going to work, okay? And she's like, oh, yeah, and agreed to all that. Well, years went by, they had a great relationship, at least till he thought. He was ready to propose to her, got her a ring, and then all out of nowhere, she wanted to do a girls' weekend. And he knew that was it was over, we're not in the same place. And I had speculated that she probably found out about the ring, which gave her the certainty to figure, oh, well, I can start now wanting to do certain things I couldn't get away with before because I got this guy. Part 2 comes along, and sure enough, she didn't know about the ring, which gave her that certainty as I predicted. And you know how she knew? His mom told her about it, and he found all this stuff about that his mom told her about it, and revealed all these things. And for 2 years, because his mom never got over the fact that he ended it with this girl, mom and her have been talking and hanging out and getting together and all that type of stuff like that. And he just felt betrayed, couldn't believe it. And I told him he pretty much told her, you got to choose, me or her. End of story. And the story ended with him pretty much saying, all right, we're going to see how things go with my mom and my sister and all that. Now we're going to go to the final update where, believe me, some of these things you're not going to see coming with regards to him dealing with his mom and sister, bringing his father into the mix because a lot of you guys were wondering where was his dad during all this drama, and a certain someone who he hasn't seen in a few years, hint, hint, comes back into the picture. It's quite an interesting ending to this saga. So, it starts off, he says, hey SSM, I'm the guy that sent you that story, blah, blah. I still can't believe the interest in my story. This is going to be the last update, and what my mind is, I'm calling the saga of Sarah. Thank you for sharing my story. It's been a few days since my last update, and I've had some significant things that have happened. In my last update, I mentioned that my mom had been trying to pull strings from the shadows with Sarah, and that my sister was complicit. Well, it's worse. Worse than that. I'll explain that further, but I had a chance to talk to my dad after I talked to my mom and my sister. He lives in another state, so I don't get to see him very often, but we have a good relationship. In my first story, I said that I came from a broken home, but other than knowing that my parents weren't together, I never knew why. I was pretty young when they divorced, and I guess the why of it never really crossed my mind. It was just the family that I had. Well, obviously there's a reason why mom and dad aren't together. Because you saw the last time mom was a total snake, operating behind the scenes because she thought she knew better. Remember that, guys? Those of you saw the story. She told the girl about the ring. They were looking at dresses. She told all her friends about a wedding, blah, 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 and guilt-tripped this guy. And I said, what the mom wants is more important what this guy wants. She wants the wedding. She wants the grandkids, all that bullshit. And by the way, today's Valentine's Day, so what a perfect time to talk about manipulating bullshit that women pull to get their way. Anyhow, so I'd wonder what happened to the dad. Well, you're going to see. He says, after talking to my dad for about 3 hours, in part to tell him what was going on with mom and Sarah, he wasn't surprised. His lack of surprise was a bit curious to me, so I finally asked him the question about why they divorced. My dad is a nice guy. In my entire childhood and adult life, I can't remember him ever saying any negative word about my mom at all. Well, he had plenty of negative words to say now. In short, they divorced because she was a, wait for it, serial cheater and an absolute control freak. Well, clearly leopard doesn't change his spots. If things didn't go her way, there wasn't any boundary that she wouldn't cross to make it happen. Shocker. He went into a lot of details about the things she did, but if anyone isn't interested, just watch the other videos on your channel. They'll get a really good idea. I'm not surprised, man. Not surprised in the least. So guys, believe me, when you think that your girl will be different, she behaved one way and she hurt you, whatever. Oh, she'll be different later on down the road. She's sorry. The odds are pretty much she's going to be the same person in 10 years, 20 years, or whatever. So if things are going bad, whoosh, get rid of her. She ain't going to change. Anyway, the day after my mom admitted that she had been spending time with Sarah, I got a call from her apologizing to me for everything. Sure. She wanted me to come over to talk when I got off work and the following day so she could explain herself. I didn't tell her that I talked to my dad since she never had anything good to say about him, and he is in a good place in his life. Yeah, she was a serial cheater, control freak, all that. The relationship ended because of her, and yeah, she's got nothing good to say about him. Sounds about right to me. I can only imagine my mom would try to drag him into some more drama. After hearing your views and seeing a lot of the comments in the last video, I was a bit apprehensive about what she would say or do. But it was my mom, so I agreed to go over and talk to her. Nobody here would blame you if you didn't talk to her anymore, because you already didn't draw a line in the sand saying, look, her or me. And even then, I told you, she's going to pull bullshit. I told you it's going to happen. She's going to pull bullshit to test how much you really mean it, to test your strength. And take a wild guess, guys, what is coming. If your answer is bullshit, well, just watch. The following day, on Friday, so this is a few days ago, guys, this is all recent, I went by her house after work, and she was waiting for me with my sister. Oh boy, two assholes. When I first walked in, they both started in with the apologies and saying they were only looking out for me. Bullshit. They're looking out for them and their interest. I sat for about half an hour and heard them out. I knew two things. First, they were convincing as hell. Second, I had no doubt they didn't mean a word they said. Bro, I'm sorry you have to unfortunately be in this situation with your family. You should be in a family that you could trust. And it's sad that you have to literally sit there thinking, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But at least now you know. This is where the real gut punch comes in. While we were sitting in the living room, someone knocked on the door. You guessed it, my sister opened the door, and there was Sarah standing there with a big smile on her face. Honest to God, this just gets crazier and crazier. Mom invites you over to apologize, but secretly she invited your ex, who you haven't seen in years, ended it for a reason. Now she's over at the house. You know, bro, the next time you do one of these things, you need to install a camera and send me the video. And this whole audience will love watching this whole thing go down. To say I was shocked was an understatement. After my sister brought Sarah in, they both had a seat. My mom had a big smile on her face, and all I could see was a snake. I picture your mom with this big grin like the Emperor in the Return of the Jedi, when he's that big fucking grin on his face when he manipulated Luke into hitting Vader with his lightsaber, or trying to hit him, and Vader defended the Emperor with the lightsaber, and he has an evil grin on his face and laughing. That's what I'm picturing. Your mom with a black cloak, black hood over her head, and she's the fucking Emperor. I was disgusted, but like most areas of my life, I'm not very confrontational, and if I can avoid being rude, I will. I did ask what Sarah was doing there, and her smile changed to a bit of a frown as she was looking at my mom a little confused. My mom said that she was going to give Sarah and me a bit of time to talk, and then she and my sister walked out of the room. God, talk about betraying your trust. No offense, bro, but I fucking told you. I told you. She's going to test it. You said, me or Sarah? You're going to cut it off with her, blah, blah, blah. Okay, no problem. You get the whole I'm sorry bullshit. Meanwhile, she's plotting and scheming and I told you. Now is when you got to demonstrate your strength. Bye, mom and sister. We're done. I gave you a chance. Whoosh. Goodbye. My mom said that she wanted to give Sarah and I more time to talk, blah, blah, blah. This was the first time I had seen Sarah since I drove the movie van away after helping her move. She was still beautiful, and I could tell that she had put on a lot of effort into getting herself fixed up to come over and see me. On this next part, I'll be sitting beside my window listening for the sounds of keyboards crashing against walls all over the world. There was no way that I was going to sit at my mom's house and do this, but I wanted to talk to her. I invited her to come to dinner with me, and she agreed with a smile. I only had one goal: to find out what was going on. Oh yes, the typing in the comment section are coming, bro. I can see where you're coming from in the sense that you want to know what the hell your mom was saying to her for your own closure. Because at this point, it is warranted. But the problem is, you go see this ex who you did love for the first time in years to come, it could stir up some emotions in there, especially when all this bullshit's going on with your family. But we shall see. She ended up following me to the restaurant. We went in and had a seat and ordered some food. We hadn't really said anything to each other, so I started with the most obvious question I had on my mind. I asked her why was she spending so much time with my mom since it had been so long that we were together. Her reaction was not what I was expecting, and she told me that what had been going on. By the time she finished telling me everything, I felt sick. It was about a month after we had broken up when my mom contacted her. As far as Sarah was concerned, our relationship was over. My mom convinced her that I was only taking a break so I could get my thoughts in order. But eventually I would come to my senses and take her back. Oh my God, your mom is a snake. A meddling, interfering snake. It's all about her and what she wants. I know better. I'm your mother. My mom told her that I wanted to marry her, but needed some time to make sure that I was really ready for such a big step. The reason she was spending so much time with my mom was to keep her updated on what was going on in my life, which was interesting considering I didn't really tell her much. It makes me wonder what kinds of lies she was making up. I'm guessing that was why my mom said I was cheating on Sarah. In the last video, this dude eventually moved on, started seeing other chicks. The mom was always rude to the chicks and said, "You're cheating on Sarah." And he's like, "I broke up with Sarah." But there you go. Mom's filling her head with bullshit. Now, this could be a lie, mind you. It's possible she's bullshitting too. You never know. But something tells me that she's actually being truthful here. The mother was putting all these ideas into her head. Anyhow, she says, I asked Sarah about the presents that she was passing off through my family, and she was shocked. My mom and sister told her that I knew the presents were from her, and they were telling her that I should give her my thanks and that I loved them. When Sarah found out that I had no idea that the presents were from her, she got angry, and I mean really angry. So it turns out that my mom was playing both of us, and neither of us was aware that the other didn't know. She was embarrassed to say the least. My mom had convinced her that we were engaged, but on a break to make sure the marriage was what we wanted. I asked her how she could possibly think that without talking to me. Her answer has shown me the error of my ways. Yep, his mom is the female version of the emperor. I've never been one to shy away from admitting that I've made a mistake. To all you in the comments that said I was stupid for giving her the ring, you were right, and I was wrong. I know why I did it, and I still believe I had good reasons. But inadvertently, I gave her false hope. I shouldn't have done that, and after seeing what happened, I can see it was cruel regardless of my intentions. For those of you who don't remember, or those of you that stumbled upon this video, this dude gave her the ring, then broke up with her. And for me, I was like, why'd you do that? Aside from doing it, giving her false hope, and also the fact that ring, that has value. You could take that thing back and at least get some of your money back. And a lot of people were like, what the hell, dude? Why'd you give her the ring? Well, now he's realizing maybe it wasn't the best idea. And yes, she was wearing the ring at dinner. My mom convinced her that because I gave her the ring, that I wanted her to think about everything, but would come back to her. Sarah was holding on to the hope, and I feel bad for having a part in it, even if it wasn't intentional. If I wanted her to have a gift, I should have given her something that couldn't be used to help her think that we were engaged. Have I mentioned that my mom is an evil B word? Well, you haven't said it outright, but we've all connected the dots. I've called your mom the female emperor, so I think we get the point. I don't think they have words to describe how furious I was at this point. It's one thing to mess with me, but to use me to mess with someone else is just plain evil. I'm not for talking to my dad about my mom. I would have had a hard time believing what Sarah said. If it had not been for talking to my dad about my mom, I'd have a hard time believing what Sarah said. Well, your dad told you. There's a reason why they broke up. But I guess you never really questioned the reasons for the divorce because it was just in the past and that was that. There you go. Well, brother, at this point, we're not done the story yet. If you haven't had good reason now to cut your mom out of your life and your sister, I don't know what else that she can do to make you see her true colors. And yeah, that's easier said than done because again, at the end of the day, she's your mom, she gave birth to you, and that's your sister, but still, her actions are telling you everything you need to know about your mom. Do you need that in your life? Hell no. Better that you're alone. Grow the relationship with your old man. But those two, out. He says, we sat there quietly looking at each other in shock for almost 10 minutes. It was our food being brought to the table that snapped me out of it. We spent the rest of dinner talking about our lives over the last 2 years. We might have had many things, but Sarah was not my enemy, and I'm not an a-hole. Her life was interesting, and for those that were wondering what happened with her pit viper friends, I think you'll be happy. She had these a-hole friends that pretty much was doing anything to get her not to be with this guy, and he didn't trust them as far as he could throw their whorish asses. For the first 6 months after we split up, they had resumed their life hanging out and having fun. Translation, riding the carousel. Then one of her friends found a stable boyfriend that she was getting serious about. They'd been dating for about 3 months, and at that point, over the following couple of months, the same lady that was spewing her venom at me started causing problems with the other friend's relationship. What I tell you about girls and their friends, they want to all be at the same level. So if one girl finds a guy and is happy, the other two, they're going to try to sabotage it. And now another girl got one, and the other girl tried to sabotage it. So I tell you guys, watch out for your girls' friends, what they're like. And some guys are like, oh, I get along great with my girlfriend's friends. Oh yeah, on the outside. Remember, they're all master actresses. So she ended up sleeping with her friend's boyfriend after they got together for a little more than 5 months, and the little group of friends exploded. It was at that point that Sarah recognized just how toxic her friends were, and she cut them out of her life. Bear in mind that this guy, I'm pretty sure, told her this. Told her flat out your friends were trouble. But she had to see it for herself. She started going to counseling, and that was when she started to realize just how wrong she was at breaking my boundary. She said she had basically spent the last year working on herself, and with what my mom had been feeding her about us still being in a relationship, but on a break, she hadn't been in a relationship or out doing the party scene. Well, I'm glad she's not doing out the party scene, but again, I can't believe she's been holding on for 2 freaking years. But then again, guys, remember what I tell you about girls and rejection. They don't like rejection. They can't handle it. And gals will oftentimes obsess over guys forever that dump them and break up with them because they just cannot take, because like no guy would do that to me. So I'm going to fix this. I'm going to get him back. There you go there. And she's also getting older. Options are limiting. It says, I was curious. I asked her why she did it and when she knew my boundaries were deal breakers. I thought we had a wonderful relationship. She said she loved our relationship, but her friends had convinced her that we had been together so long that I would ease up and that I was being controlling by not letting her spend time with her friends. Well, I'm not surprised that her friends put her up to this and put that shit in her head. But you know what? At the end of the day, she's a grown-ass woman. So regardless of her friends, don't put it on your friends. Take accountability for your actions. But you see here, well, the friends said this and the friends said that. Yeah, they did. And they were pit vipers, as he described. But still, she's a grown-ass woman and is responsible for her own actions. And therefore needs to be accountable for that. She said that all of her female friends, not just the 2 that I've talked about, said the same thing. I can only imagine how powerful it is to have every voice around you singing the same song. It's probably why men lose. Women are like pack animals. She still maintains that she wasn't going to cheat on me, but I told her that I didn't believe her. Good, don't believe her. Because she'd get down there with all these girls saying the same thing, and alcohol's involved, and unless she was a very strong person, then could become susceptible to temptation. That's how these things usually work. She said that her counselor had helped her see just how toxic her friends were and how wrong she was to let them get in the way of our relationship. Then she surprised me. She took full responsibility for her decision. Oh, okay, well that's good. And I hope that's not bullshit. She said that her friends had been trying to get her to go out for almost 2 years at that point, but she was the one who gave in, and she apologized for all my time that she wasted. I told her I was glad she was getting some help, and she seemed to have a better understanding of herself. Yeah, again, remember, guys, this is the guy, he openly admitted multiple times, look, we had a great thing going. I love this chick. I was going to marry her. A lot of fun, blah, blah, blah. But that incident, that did it for me because I realized she wasn't in the same place as me. So I got a problem with him obviously being happy that she's doing all right. Because this guy's a cool dude. He's not vengeful. He's not spiteful. He obviously is towards his mom now, which is warranted, but not her. He says, I know you guys saw this one coming. She asked if we could start over and try again. Yep, saw that coming, dude. And she said she would do anything I wanted her to do and would not let anyone else interfere in our relationship. I imagine half of the comment section is already typing away how much of a simp I am. Well, not because you obviously wanted to get to the bottom of what was going on, but we'll continue the story and we'll see about the comments. He says, I'm not going to lie and say I didn't think about it. I have no doubt that I still have feelings for her. Uh-oh. I know I said in a previous update that we would never be in a relationship again. I'm conflicted now that I find out that she's been a pawn in my mom's plans and that she significantly changed the parts of her life that were problems. I'm still not interested in a relationship with her, but the thought was interesting. I couldn't help but wonder how serious she was. Don't do it, bro. He says, there was a big problem aside from our past. I've already made up my mind that I'm never going to get married to anyone. Very smart. I've done too much research over the last few years for that ever to be an option. The court system is stacked so heavily against men right now, it would be more humane to just eat a bullet. I told her that I would never get married to anyone at any time. Marriage is simply not a safe bet for my life. I told her that even if I considered giving her a chance, if marriage was something that she expected at some point, she might just well move on. I was a bit surprised by her answer. She said that as long as I'd be monogamous with her, she didn't care if we were married or not. Bro, she wants you back so bad, she's going to say anything to get you back. And I'm going to get back to that in a little bit towards the end of the story here. Sure, it's easy to say, but is that something that she really believed? I don't know. I figured I would give her another easy out. I told her that in the last year I'd gotten a vasectomy. I didn't, but she doesn't need to know. I'll let her know that because if she wanted to have kids, I couldn't give them to her. So no marriage and no kids. She said she didn't care. She wanted to have me in her life. Oh, and I've already checked. There is no common law marriage in my state. Don't you start thinking it, my man. Don't you start thinking it. So here I am, kneeling with my head down low at the steps of your collective wisdom. Would it be wrong to take the chance on her now that she's cut her toxic friends out of her life, had counseling to see how her own decisions have affected her life, accepted that marriage is simply not an option, and there'd be no kids in the future? Yes, it'd be wrong. But I'll get to that in the end. She would basically be a perpetual girlfriend with no legal ties. While all you roasted me on that, well, bro, expect it. I want to update a little bit more about my mom. After leaving dinner with Sarah without an answer to one way or another, I went back to my mom's to get some answers. When I told her enough that she couldn't twist the truth, she confirmed what Sarah had told me. She had contacted Sarah and spent nearly the last 2 years keeping her believing that I was still in love with her and was still working out my life, but that I still wanted to marry her and was getting close. Here's her excuse. She was worried that I wasn't going to find anyone else to be serious with about my life, and she was only worried about me being happy. That is a steaming pile of crap. She's worried about her. She's a liar. She's a schemer. She's manipulative. She's freaking evil, dude. You want a parent to have a relationship with? Have one with your dad. You can never trust her again. Ever. I asked her what right she had to interfere in my life like that, and she exploded on me. She exploded on you? Let me guess. I'm your mother. I know better. She told me that she's the one that raised me, and she was the one that knows what's best for me. Bro, I'm curious about something. Are you the youngest? Is your sister older? Are you the baby in the family? Because I'm going to guess you are. Probably the reason why your sister's acting the way she is, and the way your mom does. I sense that you're the youngest, and there's that dynamic there. And I'm not being condescending, but I got to wonder. I'm going to email you and find out. I'm just curious. Anyway, back to mom being a bitch. He said, she called me a bad son for being so disrespectful for her for everything she's done for me. Oh my God, she is something. I'm not sure if I was more shocked or surprised, but when I got my emotions under control, I told her that we were through and to not bother trying to contact me again. Good, bro. That same goes for my sister. I've blocked them in every way I can, and I'm done. It's been nice. I've been nice. I've been peaceful. But without exception, my mom is the most vile person I've ever met. It crushes me to admit that about my parents, but damn, that woman is just plain evil. Yeah, stay the hell away from her. But she ain't gonna go away. So, this is the end of my updates. I still have no idea what I'm going to tell Sarah. I could have lied to you and just said that I kicked her to the curb, but I'm interested in your collective opinions. I'm looking forward to getting roasted for ever considering giving her a second chance. I haven't made a decision one way or another. I'm trying to see the positive and the negatives in such a decision. One thing, no matter what, regardless of what it is, Sarah or any other woman, I will never put myself in a position to be legally tied to a woman. Ever. Good, bro. And you're going to have videos out there on YouTube forever that's going to have me reading what you just said in case you ever change your mind. Even though I lied about the vasectomy, I've scheduled the procedure for next week. I'm not going to be baby trapped by anyone. I have no doubt that if Sarah cheated on me, it wouldn't even be a question. But I ended it before that could ever happen. Can people grow and mature, or is it more likely expecting a tiger to not have stripes? I don't know. I talked to my female friends that I used to date. See the first video. The female friend is a girl he used to date, and they just figured out they're more buddies than actual lovers. And she turned out to be pretty cool and turned him on to content like mine and really gave him the ugly truth about women. So a little update with her. She was the one that you all were saying, man, you should date her. She said that I did the right thing by cutting off my mom and sister out of my life, and she was shocked at what they had done. As far as Sarah, she was of mixed opinion. She said that if her old friends were still in her life, it'd be a hard hell no. She said that she sounded like she was actually doing the work, and it sounded like she had grown and matured to see her part in everything, so it was a maybe. One thing she cautioned me was to verify what she said and to not take her at face value without evidence. I've always believed in the principle trust but verify, so I'd agree with that. I 100% agree with you with the whole trust but verify thing, dude. And here's a shout to SSM. My friend said that a woman that is uncertain about the future will be less likely to stray because she'll be spending all of her time trying to get that certainty. Yes, that's exactly it. That's why you guys never let her think that you're into the relationship more than her. This is why it's always good that she always wonders how much you love her, how much you're into her, all that shit, okay? Otherwise, bullshit happens. It's the freaking truth. And he has a woman right here backing up exactly what I say. Said here, she said, and I quote, the fastest way to have a woman get bored and look somewhere else is to no longer be a challenge for her to keep him. I'm thinking that the best thing I can do is just move down where my dad lives and start my life over. On one hand, there's Sarah, who has claimed that she'd be okay filling this slot in my life as a perpetual girlfriend with no chance of marriage or kids. On the other hand, I've never been the guy to look backwards. I want to thank you for all your kind and not so kind words of wisdom, and I'd especially like to thank SSM for sharing my story and offering his advice. One thing I've come to realize is that learning the RP never really stops. Women's tactics evolve, and so must men. So as Johnny from Fantastic Four says, flame on. Well, brother, that was quite a story in your 3 stories and one hell of an update, and I'm not the least bit surprised in any of it. So, back to your question about your ex. Okay. No, don't go back to her. Okay? And there's a bunch of reasons why. Number one, I'm going to jump around here. If you go back to her and give it a second chance, that is going to justify all the bullshit your mom did. Your mom is going to sit back in her freaking throne like the emperor with a big evil emperor grin on her face and know that she was right. She'll say the ends justified the means. Okay? Absolutely do not do that, because that would make your mom think, well, I was right, therefore I can continue on with my scheming and plotting and all that. And you know what? Your mom would be right. Number 2, she may feel it in the moment out of desperation to get you back, that, oh, I'm cool with never getting married, I'm cool not having any kids. Well, guess what? The second she gets you, that's going to change, okay? If you don't believe me, go ahead and just try this. Just watch. Watch what happens with your mom and watch what happens with her. She'll say that to get you in, and the second she's got you, then it can be pushing towards marriage. And oftentimes a guy might cave and then gets married, and then she'll be pressing him towards kids. And if he says, well, I got a vasectomy, then she'll be pressing for adopting. If adopting doesn't work, oh, well, we'll do foster care to have kids temporarily. It's not going to stop. That's how it works. So you can just affirm no. Doesn't matter. They'll find all these different angles and ways to get their way. Believe me. So that I do not buy for a second. She's totally cool with that. That's bullshit. It's not going to work, man. I'm just being honest with you. I've lived long enough, experienced enough, observed enough my personal life, friends' lives, acquaintances' lives, families' lives, and the countless stories I've done over 2 years. No. She's going to want more, guaranteed. And last but not least, she's the past. Okay? You had a great thing going back then. But guess what? You're older. You're a different person now. She's a different person. I hope that she's a better person. And hell, maybe she is. But that time is gone. Okay? Just like you said, you're not a person for looking back. You're for moving forward. I'm the exact same way. When I move on, in my life, from people to a different stage in my life, if you will, when I close one chapter to my life and move on to the next one, I'm done. I don't go back to the past. There's no point. It's a waste of time. So, bro, please listen to my advice here and listen to the countless advice in the comment sections from all the brothers around the world who are going to tell you exactly what I'm saying. Don't go back with her. And no, I'm not going to give you a hard time for having those emotions in that moment, because you're doing a lot of bullshit with your mom and sister, and anybody, I don't care how tough you are, comes to realize that you can't trust your own mother and family. That's hard. So your emotions are all over the place. You get a pass on that one. And also, you haven't seen this chick in years, so you did love her once. So, okay, you get a pass for that moment there at Applebee's or wherever the hell you went to eat your dinner with her to find out what was going on. But come to your senses, otherwise you're going to get a slap from me. And don't go back, okay? Wish her well, but move on. And maybe it's not a bad idea that you pack up and relocate near your old man, because you need to get the hell away from your mom as far as possible from her, and don't tell her where you're freaking gone. Look for job opportunities where your old man lives. But it's time for a real solid change. That's what I think. So anyhow, bro, awesome story. This thing was as epic as fucking Lord of the Rings. I really enjoyed it, and believe me, dudes all over the world not only enjoyed this, but got something out of this. So good luck, bro. Don't go back to her. Cut off mom and the sister. Done. No Christmas, no Merry Christmases or Happy Easter, Happy Halloween, or Happy Birthday, or any of that shit. They're done. Because she's only going to bring more shit into your life. Okay? All right, bro. Good luck. May the force be with you. All right, guys. That is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. He needs it. He needs our help. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.